Over the years, many companies have gone through significant rebrands, especially within the last 2 decades. Some have been successful and simple, like MasterCard or locally Chauffette, and others have been abysmal failures, like Gap's now notorious rebrand, lasting just 3 days before they reverted to their old logo after a tremendous outcry. And while Weight Watchers' rebrand was visually appealing, changing the name to WW and pivoting away from core aspects of its offering like its name, its logo, and its rationale alienated its market and led to less than stellar results where it mattered the most. This week, Jaguar launched a shocking rebrand, and yes, it garnered a lot of attention. Much of it was negative, from creative industry experts to social commentators alike. There was a lot to be said about the little 15-second video and the snippets that they showed of the new logo in all of its glory. So what makes a successful rebrand? Why would Jaguar do this? Did they miss the mark? And how should they respond? Welcome to the Rethink Series podcast, where we analyze trends and topics in design, business, and innovation, challenge our assumptions, and think differently about the world around us. If you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. There are many reasons why a company may go through a rebrand. For example, modernization of its products, modernization of the industry, a change of ownership, creating a new flagship product, having a loss of revenue or market share and wanting to make a pivot, or market repositioning. And Jaguar was definitely facing a bit of each one of these reasons. And in their case, they had tanking sales. For example, in the US market alone in 2023, Jaguar sold less than 5,000 cars, and their market share dropped to less than 0.1% of the automotive market in the US. So they had a lack of market relevance. Clearly, something had to be done. But did Jaguar miss the mark? There clearly was a lot of chatter and pushback and hate and disgust. But Jaguar has been quietly touting an early December event in Miami, and in response to Elon Musk's tweet about the rebrand, with a hint of a preview during what may be an Art Basel pre-party on December 2nd. So Jaguar has been seeding this, and even on their website they have a date of December 3rd. So this is something to watch for. Has this rebrand just been a way to garner conversation, build up awareness, and guide people to what they do next? Many people left watching that ad feeling completely confused, wondering if it was a makeup ad, a perfume ad. No one really knew. And one of the big questions that people had was, shouldn't there have been a car in the ad? We all know what car ads look like. You see the car in its natural setting while speeding through highway and city streets, or for the more rugged vehicles, going over rough terrain, hitting muddy patches of water, all trying to sell the car. We've seen it before, the cookie cutter car ad, and definitely doing something different will get attention. Should it have been so different? So you don't necessarily need to see the product or the car in the ad for it. We see this with perfume brands and fashion brands and other high-end products all the time. They sell an ethos rather than the product itself. Most successful ads can actually minimize product involvement and sell you on the feel and the brand. Brands like Apple do this. Nike does this. It is important when you think about a brand to remember that a brand exists in the minds of the consumer. So a brand is something that you have to make an emotional connection with your customers and your market. And if you don't make that emotional connection, if you don't prioritize people over product, you're not going to have that level of engagement with the market. But this ad was something that you can simply swap the logo out, and it can be an ad for Adobe, it can be an ad for Canva, it can be an ad for Skittles, or as one of my students mentioned, it can be an ad for Starburst. So the ad didn't really connect with the market. And launching a new brand direction is fine, but you have to find a way to appeal to the emotional connection that people have with your industry and with your product for that new brand, for that new direction to make sense. So let's look at the outcome. Jaguar clearly got the right result for the wrong reasons. For example, they have been a brand that has been dying for decades, and it's finally relevant again at the top of public discourse. Everyone is talking about the Jaguar rebrand. We're making a video analyzing just what this rebrand means for the company. But for what reason? Was it the right reason? Heritage and equity of the brand have become the baby in the bathwater. Clearly, Jaguar is a brand in decline, it's struggling, they know this, and they've made a hard pivot in the other direction, completely going away from everything that they've done. But it would seem as though they're hiring people who are antagonistic to the brand and to the type of customers they've had before. And that can be dangerous. You don't want to alienate the people who have been enthusiastic about your brand over the years. It seems to be a slap in the face to car enthusiasts around the world. And in the midst of this, you've heard the statement, all publicity is good. Is that really the case? Right now, what we're seeing from Jaguar seems to be a last-minute departure, a desperate last-minute departure from all that they've had. Is this something that they've just used to build awareness, get people talking about the brand, drive people to their website and their social media, so that then once they have all eyes on them, they can make their big announcement? Let's look at 4 aspects that make a successful rebrand. The automotive industry has been facing pressure from governments and policymakers alike to shift away from fossil fuels, and car brands are making a hard pivot away from marketing to gearheads and more to environmentally conscious young professionals and families, which means the focus over the years has gone from how big the engine is, how fast it can go from 0 to 100, and how much pounds of torque it can produce, to reducing emissions, alternative fuel and power sources, and the net zero carbon footprint that the car can provide. It's clear the industry has been tasked with making changes with the times. So what makes for a successful rebrand? Here are 4 keys that make for a successful rebrand. Remember your heritage. Especially if you have a brand as old as Jaguar. Jaguar's brand is over 100 years old. Your heritage is your brand's DNA. It's what's built up over time. It's what you've become known for. Jaguar had become known for premium luxury cars. Jaguar had become known for being the rebel sporty car back in the days of James Bond, etc. So you can't throw all that out in a rebrand off the cuff. You have to remember your brand's DNA, remember your heritage, honor it, build on it, and learn from it. And while you can't move forward while constantly looking back, you can't shoot for the moon if you don't have a solid launch pad to leave from. Heritage should never hold you back, but throwing it out is a lesson that many an ambitious marketing director has paid dearly to learn. Just look at what happened with Bud Light last year. They lost tremendous market share. Their sales tanked. People boycotted the brand, and they had to finally come back to marketing to the people who made them popular. The marketing director totally misread the room there. Is that the case with Jaguar? We'll see. Know and honor your visual language. Now, these things may change. Brands go through changes, but Jaguar's shift was not a rebrand. It was a body swap, clear and simple. While they have tried to cleverly reintroduce the pouncing Jaguar, changing its direction, modernizing its shape in what they're calling the maker's mark, the rationale for it is vague and meaningless at best, as we see here in a quote from the creative director. It's pithy and it doesn't make any sense. What does it really mean? You also have to know and respect your current and potential customers. Clearly, Jaguar is not trying to appeal to its current customer base with this branding. In fact, Jaguar has said that they're not releasing any 2025 models. They're solely focusing on 2026, which will be a fully EV line, and all current models will be discontinued. So even their greatly performing Jaguar F-Pace SUV, that's gone. Sedan, gone. E-Pace and I-Pace, gone. All of them have been discontinued, and Jaguar is hedging their bets on this massive rebrand, this totally new direction. But before, their customer base was mostly in the older 55 plus demographic or young professionals looking to make a statement. Jaguar's pinning their hopes on appealing to a younger audience to buy their cars to make up 80 to 90% of sales, while stating that the new lineup to drop in 2026 will be approximately double the price of the now defunct and discontinued models. And they weren't cheap. Who are they trying to appeal to? If it's the Gen Z or millennial audience, well, they got to be careful, because in the US, Gen Zs are not so enthusiastic about getting their driver's license anymore. So the rate at which younger individuals are getting their driver's license is dropping. You have city transportation, people can connect socially across apps, etc. It's not looking good for driving. Driving is no longer the rite of passage or the experience it used to be. It is more a consumer good considered from getting from point A to point B, and that's it. Fourthly, a brand should make sense and inspire. So don't confuse the market. Make moves that people can follow and not moves that look like a knee-jerk reaction to tanking sales and a brand in crisis. Give customers something to feel good about and aspire to. And maybe in early December, there will be a redemption that will make the recent rebrand make sense. Or maybe it will be the final nail in the coffin. But for the rebrand to save a company, it has to be strategically timed, instituted before panic mode. Yes, a brand with nothing to lose can come out swinging and be saved from the chopping block. Remember back in the late 90s when Apple took back Steve Jobs and they had a significant cash injection from Microsoft, and that worked. Lego was another brand that in the early 2000s had a significant turnaround after seeing sales tank with different franchises, and the Star Wars franchise came in and Lego did amazingly well. Or rebrand can have little to no effect on a brand's eventual demise, like the far more demure Tupperware rebrand earlier this year that failed to stave off bankruptcy. And Tupperware is a company with tremendous brand equity over the years, but Tupperware didn't evolve with the times, and no amount of a rebrand could save them. So make sense and inspire your customers. Give them something to aspire to. Move with them, but don't leave them behind. Don't move away from them. Jaguar made a bold move this week and caused quite a stir. Critics have come down harsh, while a few have come out in support or at least in curiosity to see what happens next. A rebrand should build on past successes and not cannibalize existing IP. This approach alienates customers, confuses the market, and risks irreparable damage to the bottom line. Jaguar's rebrand has definitely gotten people talking about a brand that has been stagnant for years, and some say that's all that matters, and maybe they proved their critics wrong come December 2nd. Are we witnessing the rebirth of a failing brand or the death of an automotive icon? Success or failure lies in where this rebrand goes next. Thanks for watching this episode of the Rethink Series podcast. If you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe to our channel and our social media for more content like this. See you in the next one.